Alright guys, this is getting serious. Bitcoin is running out of time and the charts are crystal clear right now. If price cannot reclaim these key levels in the next few days, we could see here a major continuation that nobody's ready for. Support is already broken and bulls are on the defense, and the market's reaction from here will decide everything. In today's stream, I'm going to break down exactly what levels must be reclaimed, what the charts are signaling, and how to prepare before the next move is hitting us. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in here. I just want to make sure that my camera is right, positioned right here. Just give me a second, that I'm in the right frame here. This is horrible over time. So let me zoom out here a little bit. Zoom out. There. This is a little bit better. I hope it's a little bit better. Here. Let me move this a little bit. This. Yeah. So this is a little bit better. So we jump directly into the charts because I have, again, limited amount of time today. I want to cut it shorter than the other days. Here on the CME chart for Bitcoin, we see that current price on the spot market is around $95,600 approximately. So that would put us, if we are staying around this level until CME opens, with a $600 CME gap in the room. So that $600 CME gap will 100% getting close. There's no doubt in my mind that this is going to happen rather quickly than not. And this might be a problem because if we are now starting to move here back down, to close this, we might take out this low here and go all the way down to the last CME gap, all the way down here. Let me also make this here different color. This is horrible. I rather want to have this white. I also going to show you on-chain data, what they are actually telling us right now, and if we should be worried based on on-chain data. So here, first of all, I cannot stress this enough, that even if we go down here and close that CME gap, that we are not in danger yet of losing the bull market. And one reason for that is that here the bull market peak indicators, all of them, all 30, none of them has flashed yet. So some of them are well progressed, like this one here, Altcoin Season Index at 62%, here Bitcoin Dominance 90%. So we are getting close to the top, but none of these indicators has flashed yet. So in every single bull run, they have flashed. So we are here, according to this indicator, not even halfway through the Bitcoin cycle to be 100% at the top. And 30 indicators, maybe one is wrong, maybe two are wrong, but not 30. 30 are not wrong. And that's why you need to keep an eye on that once they are starting to flash here, that we are actually close to the top. Something else that I had a look at was here the Bitcoin long-term to short-term ratio. And what you can see here is that long-term holders have sold to short-term holders, and now long-term holders starting basically to get exhausted, which leads to continuation to the upside. So, but how do you determine this? So you just need to go back here when here long-term holders basically were selling like crazy. So here that ratio was at the top side, let me get this here, on the top side, at 24, so which is insane. You know, it's an insane high ratio, and the price was at $108,000 on the 4th of July. So what happened on the 4th of July? We saw a massive drop in the market. Now you know why. You know, long-term holders were selling like crazy, and this ratio spiked. But since then, it is on a steady decline. The highest that this ratio went up was here in October, late October, to 2.4, and since then, sometimes it got up here to like 1.5 or something, or roughly 2, but not much higher than that. So, and that just shows you over time, even though price is declining, that long-term holders that are selling, running out of coins that they actually can sell. So, and we have this every single cycle, and over certain periods and within the cycles itself, where long-term holders are selling and switching hands to short-term holders that are then becoming over time long-term holders again. So this is nothing else than like a changing hands situation from long-term holders to short-term holders. And the next crucial thing that we need to look at is also here the MVRV ratio. So and this is how many people here right now thinking that the price is overvalued or not. So and when you look at this, a ratio, it's actually even explained here, a ratio below 1 or around 1 marks the bottom, at 3.7 indicates a top. Where are we right now? We are at 1.67. Okay, here now to be exact 1.687. So we are really, really close to hit here a bottom mark on the MVRV. And when you look here again into the past, when we were the last time here, where we were a little bit above that ratio, was on the 9th of April, where we also saw here a massive move to the downside. That was, let me see, the exact move was 8th of April. Yeah, so I lost in that move, I think $200,000 that day. So it was a really, really bad day for me. Yeah, I lost $200,000 that day when we went down here. So now we went lower, but price is not lower. Price was here. Remember, we were also here over $100,000 just before that. But price was here at $76,000 when we hit that low. We went now lower on that ratio, but price is still over $95,000. So what does that show you? First of all, people have more conviction than they had on the 9th of April to hold their coins. Otherwise, we would have seen a way bigger sell-off. And we are really close to a bottom based on that ratio here. So this ratio gives me a dot plot or a continuation of that line here every single day. So by tomorrow, we could potentially see here already that bounce happening, but you need, of course, a little bit more data than just tomorrow. I would say 5 days. 5 days is enough to see here if the trend is reversing, and this marks today the bottom, because the problem is Bitcoin is running out of time to put in a proper bottom with a proper bounce. Because when we're going here now to the weekly chart, okay, we are holding on to that falling wedge currently with this downward sloping support line that we are seeing here. So we are just holding on to this right now. So, but the same thing what I mentioned yesterday, we need to see next week a bounce here to the upside. If there's no bounce coming, then things are looking bad and we will move lower. We will move into lower levels here. So today marks potentially, and tomorrow, one of the biggest decision days for Bitcoin for the coming weeks, to see where will be the directional move for Bitcoin, especially also here on the on the stochastic RSI, where we the area where we usually got a reversal is now looking like that we got continuation, even though we are at the bottom. So the good thing is, because we're at the bottom, that means we will not stay here for a long time. A worst case scenario would be 2 to 3 weeks that I'm seeing us staying in this range before we get a massive reversal back to the upside, and that would lead into early December. From what I see in the charts, it might happen way sooner than that. So, and something interesting to observe here is that we are seeing today a bounce from the $93,700 level with this small wick here, which could be the first indication that we are ready to get here a bigger bounce next week with the opening of the next weekly candle tomorrow morning, tomorrow morning. But the problem is that at the same time, we are now at the point where the daily chart is definitely putting in the death cross, and this can be only prevented if next week, over the course of next week, we are reclaiming the $100,000 level, and here this key support cluster from $98,800 to $100,900 approximately, which is a $2,000 support cluster that might be acting now as resistance when we come back up, based on these prior wicks that we had here, and then that sharp breakdown to the downside. Hi guys. I have a look also in the chat here on the side. Don't think I'm not seeing you guys. So today, what needs to happen today is that we are closing above $96,600, basically the daily high. We need to get back up to this level, because that marks also yesterday's daily high, more or less, to get continuation here. If we're failing to do that and we move just slightly here below $95,500, it mark then it might mark a continuation move into lower levels, and then down here we might get a deviation and see then the reversal into higher levels. Here on the volume candles and on the volume delta with the MDX indicator, so we see, and that is something positive for now, we see that here definitely bulls trying to defend current price because this candle is completely green lit. And I want to show you this, that you understand this a little bit better. You see here, this candle is not completely filled, the previous one that is green, and also the red one is not completely filled. So that means that in this area, sellers tried to take control, and the same thing what was happening here, buyers tried to take control over the price action by pushing it back to the upside, but were not able to create enough momentum to flip this candle green, the same that the previous daily candle was not able to to flip here completely red, but today's candle is completely green. So it means buyers are heavily defending current price levels. So, and that's why I'm saying if we can move a little bit higher and stay above $96,600, $700 today and can come back up there, then chances are high and likely that we're going to get continuation straight away by tomorrow into the bigger volume delta cell clusters here that are starting at $102,700 to like $103,800 approximately. Now on the daily chart also here, the golden ratio is for now respected, while the 75-day moving average is coming up here into the golden ratio. So we are crossing already into this, so which opens up the scenario that we are actually going to get here a W formation of some kind with a move back into higher levels. And I want to mention this again, current price levels are not that bad if you want to take a calculated risk to open trade positions. It's not from a risk to reward perspective, this is not the worst levels right now where you can open positions. Because here on the 4-hourly chart with the MDX algo scalp gradients, and I want to mention this guys here really quickly, smash the like button. We need more people on the stream. We're 72 people, 12 minutes in, let's get more people here. Because I will be not much, not for a really long time here, not like yesterday. I'm gonna cut this way shorter, so make sure that you smash up the like button and more people come here actually into the stream, please. So here on the MDX algo scalp gradients, we are back in a light bluish phase, but you cannot really trust this until it flips like purple pinkish for continuation to the upside. Here we are still exposed to the risk that we get another retest of $94,700 from where our entry was. So if you entered this yesterday, amazing, you are definitely up here in profit, even though it's right now less than 1%. You're up here like, just under 1%. Again, not the worst trade. If you are, like I said and recommended, in with 20x leverage, you're up 20%. What I would do in that scenario is set your stop loss already like half in profit. So I want to make sure that you guys are walking away with profit here. That's the whole, let me see here. The whole point anyway of this channel, that you make money here. So set your stop loss into profit of like roughly 10%, that if price comes down later, that you get stopped out with 10% minus the fees, and potentially can re-enter the same trade with the profit that you made, again around the same level, and then we try this again. You know, because at some point price will return back to the upside, especially after we got such a massive sell-off last week. On the reactor indicator also here, this just looks like indecision, flatlining, and could be just a pausing position until markets open tonight, and then we get continuation here. Because don't be fooled, on the 4-hourly time frame and other time frames, indicators have massively cooled down. Only the stochastic on the 4-hourly is not looking that great, to be fair. So, but here, based on the EMA ribbons on the 4-hourly chart, here's the next potential trade setup that you can take, short-term trade. You wait for a break of $96,300. What is this? $96,400, and you trade here to the $100,000 level with a stop loss here on the last lowest candle, which is a 1.71% stop loss. So 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio trade. And that's absolutely fine, guys. If it's 1 to 2, you can take the trade on Bitcoin. So why? Because the EMA ribbon is in a downtrend since all the way over here. And when we are coming back up now here to retest the ribbon, potentially today, then I don't think that we immediately break here to the upside. And even if we would manage to break above this here, we would deviate, come back into the ribbon, then start going sideways in the midsection of the ribbon, then slowly turning the ribbon around, and then you would get at some point the continuation move on the EMA ribbon when it finally flips to the upside. But in between, price will move here up and down and also go slightly below the ribbon again before we get here the continuation move to the upside. So and that's why here this is definitely a good level where you can take profit in the short term on a scalp trade like that. And again, this is almost a 4% trade. If you take this with 20-25x leverage, you make here between 80 and 100% almost on this small trade here. So and like I said, I think that this is gonna play out here over the next 24 hours. And if not, if we are just getting here slightly up and then come down and you get stopped out, okay, that's the risk that we are taking, you know. So, but the more times we are taking trades, the more profitable we are, because overall, we should not fool ourselves. We are highly profitable overall on this channel here. Now, if you want to take trades like this with me together and not end up at a $32,000 loss here, then trade on Weex, guys. That's where I mainly trade all my Bitcoin positions. You get $30,000 worth of sign-up bonuses and $400 immediately credited into your account if you bind your email address and your phone and downloaded the app. And another $400 you get on top of that if you deposit $500. And when you do that and deposit the $500, you get access on top of that to my private Telegram, where we are still killing it in the market, even though everything is going down. And we made here 6% on spot plus the leverage. So they usually don't use more than like 10-20x leverage. They made 60 to 120% on that single trade here that was given just yesterday, as you can see here. So if you want access to that, there is in the description everything explained how to do that. And if you cannot use Weex, then go to Tapbit, guys. Same thing. There you get 10% cash back if you sign up there to get access to the Telegram group. If you cannot write me on Telegram, write at info@amcrypto.us or on Twitter. There you can also reach out. So now let's have a look here on the liquidation levels. So here, one of the reasons why I believe that we are actually getting a move in the next coming hours to the upside is that there's so much stupid liquidity just above us. You know, we don't even need to move much to the upside. You know, if we only move here to the 50 moving average to $110,000 and spike all the way up to $102,500, we are taking here massive short liquidity already out of the market because below us there's basically nothing. You know, so it makes not a lot of sense to push prices lower and making all these shorts richer, and the market maker is sidelined, you know, because they took already all the long liquidity. They need to push price back up to take all the long liquidity. There is, of course, here this little bit all the way down there, but once that is taken, there's nothing left anymore. And here, again, a reminder, that green area that I marked out here 2 days ago is still the best area from where you can long Bitcoin for a swing position, in my opinion. And that swing, I will trade personally at least into the 200 moving average. And when we are reaching that, I'm gonna have a look how price action developed on the way up here. And if we are just consolidating and slightly touch the 200 moving average, then I just keep the position. You know, I let it run because then I know straight away that we're going higher. The liquidation heat map also showing here massive cell cluster that has built up. Oh wow, now it's not loading. Come on, give me my cluster back. Ah, shit, there it just came back. Do I get it now back? Yes. So look at this here. Massive cluster has built up over the course of this week, all the way up here to like $98,700. Yes, there is something below us at $93,400. So, but even that's why I'm saying, even if we move down here, I don't think that we go much lower. You know, that would be just a move to scare the last people out of their positions that they still hold and make them believe that we are going now into a bear market, and then we reverse it and run it all the way back up to $120,000. Of course, not in one candle. You know, it would be nice to see this in one candle, but it's most likely not happening in one candle. But you see here, there's so much confluence that we should and need to go back up to take all this liquidity, because market makers want to make money and they can only do that by pushing price back up. Now, the USDT dominance is also coming down here slightly today. This is currently a continuation formation. And that continuation formation with these two red candles means we go further to the downside. That can reverse technically with another engulfing candle to the upside. So we need to see tomorrow what's happening, unless this current daily candle would straight away move back here to like 5.66%. And close today all the way down here, and then it would be pretty clear that then tomorrow would be a continuation candle. With this indecision candle, because of the previous candle, you can lean a little bit more to the bearish side, but it's like a 60-40 kind of situation. So 60% if we continue lower, 40% if we push back to the upside. The total free market cap is holding still steady above $900 billion here. We're at 917 billion roughly, approaching again this downward sloping trend line soon. Yeah, and we just need to break above that. So here, really, bulls need to step in left, right, and center in the markets to push prices up and inject liquidity. That we are going back to $1 trillion. Because also here, if that is not happening quickly over the course of next week, we're gonna go all the way down here to like $830 billion. Now, Ethereum was looking good here today for a continuation move to the upside, and then Bitcoin turned around. Now Ethereum turned around. So here is a new trade setup from that current support area that you can take. Again, the risk to reward is fine. It's a calculated risk here to take this trade with an 8% return if we are hitting our target here at $3,400. Currently, it looks like to me that we are forming here the left side, the end of the left side of the W formation, but we can only confirm that in the next 2 days when we see here a move to the upside, that most likely can lead already all the way up here into the target, because there's again a lot of confluence here. We have a downward sloping trend line that acts as resistance. This area up here will act as resistance, and we have also liquidity stacked up there that screams for a liquidity sweep. So something else that I also want to point out, that this might be here on the 4-hourly chart turn into a bump and run pattern. So where you have here that high, then you start to move lower and have already here the outline of this downward sloping trend line, get then a steeper move, and then from a steeper move you get a retest, then again a move to the downside, and then you get the break. Okay, not that violent, so you get a breakout like kind of until here, then a retest, then the continuation. So this might be here a small bump and run pattern playing out if we are getting here soon a move back to the upside. So if we are failing to do that and we lose this level here below us, then from there, if we lose this level, we go all the way down here to $2,744. I think you can also see that if I take here, let's see here. Yeah, you see here kind of in alignment is the 1.618. The extended golden ratio on the Fibonacci retracements is also pointing to that level here if we are losing the current levels that we are trading at. Then Solana was looking also fine today. Now not so much anymore. It looked like that we are here breaking the downward sloping trend line. So here, if we are getting more follow through to the downside, then things are looking bad for our bullish divergence, you know. So because here is still a bullish divergence playing out in price. So you can see that here, if I connect here the wicks of these candles, price is going down, RSI is going up, bullish divergence on the 4-hourly chart. But if we are not getting here soon a bounce, then yeah, basically in the next 3.5 hours, then and the RSI moves below this upward sloping trend line, bullish divergence gone. So because the stochastic is printing already a sell signal, which is inherently bad, with the MACD losing momentum and the RSI now breaking here potentially the downward sloping trend line, not good, not good, not what we want to see. So if we are losing all these levels here, just need to prepare you for this. I think there is still a level down here. Yeah, $131 is the last line of defense for Solana. Because if we lose that level, then we are going down here to like $112 for Solana. A level that I don't want to see, to be honest. So if you are if you are in a Solana trade, $131 is the level where you definitely should pull the plug on your position before you're risking losing it. Near, I gave you yesterday here basically a sniper entry on a position. I hope some of you guys were able to catch that. And as you can see here, we are following more or less the outline that I gave yesterday. I didn't move this at all. So yes, we moved here with a wick to the upside into the resistance, but it doesn't change a lot how price is moving, you know. So because now we are coming down. So we went down into this area. I hope some of you guys longed from there. Went up. Now we are coming back down, creating a higher low compared to this one here. And then we go up, then we break. This is what I'm seeing. So if you actually were able to catch this trade, how much are you up right now here from? That'd be $2.37. You would be up 4%, so 5x leverage, 20%. Yeah, I think it's also time to set here a stop loss, like at $2.42, so that you walk at least with half the money away, and that the trade is for you absolutely risk-free in this moment, you know. So if we are moving down 2% and it kicks you out, fine. Just again, compound what you won into a new position from the same entry again, because it looks definitely like that we're coming back down here. Here on the 4-hourly chart, this looks now like a topping pattern, you know, a spinning top, which is a reversal back to the downside. Then Tau is back at entry. So as you have seen on the signal that I had sent, I told my guys to set their take profit, their stop loss into profit. So they got out here. Nonetheless, on the daily chart, this doesn't look bad, you know. So this looks like that we can potentially re-enter this. The only thing that I want to see is that we are breaking this downward sloping trend line here on the 1-hourly chart. So if you go to 1-hourly chart, break this trend line on the 1-hourly chart, and I'm ready to buy this again, because that is exactly the point where we got rejected here earlier today, and got this bearish engulfing to the downside. So, but if we get here a 1-hourly close above that, it's gonna send really hard. So this is what you want to watch for Tau. And then I want to have a look here. We are 27 minutes in. Okay, I can do one more. But before I do that, guys, I want to remind you that I'm opening up again my mentorship, which is highly limited to a certain amount of people. If you want to be part of this, you need to fill out an application. I'm not taking anyone, guys, you know, so we are really highly selective with who I'm working, because it's also peace of mind, you know. I don't like if I get stressed and like people scream at me and stuff like that, you know. So we are really highly selective with who I'm working. And my team is already filtering people out. We got over 100 applications so far over the last couple of days. So, but it doesn't mean that you don't have a chance, you know. So make the application if you want to take your trading to the next level. And we're gonna get back to you here in a week-ish. Roughly in a week, we're gonna decide with who we're gonna work with. And then me and my team will reach out to you. So there is a link in the description and also pinned here in the live chat, guys, to fill out the application. Let me see here what we can potentially have a look at. Let's actually try to find something live quick that we can trade. Oh wow, this is already looking really bad here. That was looking much better earlier. Wow, Zcash is still rampaging here, and also Esther. This is insane. Let's have a look at Zcash, if we potentially can trade this. Oh, Zcash is running here now into this upward sloping resistance, so that's why I will not squeeze that for like 3-4%. And rising wedge. So, but I think you can take a short here, a calculated short for Zcash. Short, you're gonna use the prior all-time high as your stop loss, and you target, I would target here $657. So you get in at 721, which is soon, 731, which again is soon. And if you see price struggling to break above that level, take a short from there. So, but wait, you know, so don't jump into the short when you see this breaking. You know, you need to wait. You need to wait that this is coming back down if it's breaking, and then you enter this on the way down. So guys, I have to run. We're again almost 30 minutes here on the stream. I still try to make this shorter. It's way too long that I'm here. But thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I hope to see you tomorrow.